right here, right now. Every day, CIUT 89.5, the sound of your city. Toronto.
We're back at Career Buzz, and I'm your host, Sasha Lala. Our next interview is with mindfulness teacher Vanessa Petronelli. Vanessa helps people powerfully transform their lives from the inside out, whether through intensive one-on-one work, online programs, or workshops. She turns people's pain and confusion into joy and success. She is trained and certified in yoga and mindfulness meditation, and is a writer for Collective Evolution's online community and magazine. A former yoga teacher, model, actress, and pop singer, Vanessa infuses her personal wisdom into her writing, teaching, and speaking. Vanessa, thank you so much for joining us in studio today.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you.
So, wow, there's a lot of things you've been involved in your life. Yoga teacher, model, actress, pop singer, and that's not even what you do right now. Can you tell us a little bit about how you grew up to even have all of this be something that's been in your life thus far?
Absolutely. Well, I often say I feel like I've had 10 lives in the last 31 years. It's been a very, very full and whole life, and I feel very blessed for that. But I grew up, in the suburbs just outside of Toronto, and from a very early age, I knew that I wanted to help people. I had this internal drive, passion, intuitive knowing that I was going to, somehow help humanity on some level. And when I was 14, I was very creative growing up. I played piano. I participated in sports. I loved art. But I particularly loved being on stage and being involved in music. And at 14, I got involved in the entertainment industry. I was in a pop group. I did acting. I did modeling. So I modeled on runways and print ads. I was a solo singer. I was in a pop group. Danced, you name it, I kind of did it all.
Amazing.
It was very fun. And the reason why I had this inclination to go into that industry was to have the ability to reach the masses. I thought, well, if I'm involved in a project, let's say that can reach the world in a way through music or through a movie or some sort of online or media type project, I can have a voice. I'll have more of a voice to express what it is that I'm here to do, which is to help humanity. It's to help them transform from inside out. Now that's my motto, but back then it wasn't, I didn't emulate that through words. So I just felt it from the inside of my being. And I did go to school, I went to university, I went to York, and I did go to Centennial College for my post-grad. But it was my focus, but it wasn't my focus. So I was very split, kind of like our first guest with, what she was saying, going to school and having a business. That was my life for 10 years in the entertainment industry. And I had another small business when I was around 2021 in event marketing. And I used to hire a lot of staff for big events in Toronto for the film festival and celebrity galas, things like that. But by the time I was like 23, 24, I really noticed that the original intent that I had in the industry slowly started to wean off. I developed a lot of body image issues, and my confidence slowly started to dissipate, and I didn't feel like I was in purpose. I wasn't living my ultimate passion, and I wasn't getting my message out there.
Yeah.
It's a tough industry. I loved it, and it served its purpose absolutely. I grew so much from that, but it was tough. So that's when I decided to leave the industry around 24 years old and embarked on a year of finding myself. And then eventually I went back to school and went into health and wellness. And I've always had a passion for that on the side and human development and spirituality. And here we are 6 years later with my business. So,
and is this 6 years since you decided to take your year off? That's...
No, this is my 6th year with my business currently, so it's been 7 years.
It's been
now.
7 years.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because when I was reading your bio, you have, and I'm glad you shared what you shared, because there's this whole world of pop singer, model, actress, and then it's from the outset, because right now what you do, and we'll get into what mindfulness teaching is and exactly, but it is much more transformational work. It's much more inner development work. It's much more spiritual work, which can kind of seem like it's a bit in contrast to the industry you sort of came from in your 20s. Do you actually see, and I know you mentioned that, you started to feel some body image issues, so you sort of wanted to get more on track and on purpose, but can you see threads of, how they were very, very similar in producing what it is you want to produce on the planet? Or is it very much like that was for my 20s, it wasn't working, and I got back on track when I actually started doing more of the mindfulness and, spiritual side of things?
I can absolutely see how they're two polar opposites. 100% from the outside looking in, I'd be like, how the heck did this woman get there?
Yeah.
But, in all honesty, for me, it was one and of the same. It was a part of all of this. When I was a teenager, even in that industry, as I said, it was very much, it was driven not by just fame and wealth or being seen on stage and being popular. It was very much about having that voice.
Yeah.
I was naive back in the day, pure and innocent when I got into that industry, thinking, oh my goodness, I'm going to be able to get involved in projects that are really going to make a difference in the world. And it happened from time to time, but in general, that wasn't the case. But I will say this, when I was in that industry, I was consistently questioning the world around me. I was always the type of individual that would never do things that didn't feel aligned for me, that weren't driven by my heart and from an internal desire. Even, growing up, I could not articulate that at the time, but looking back, I remember that that's always been the case. I refused to go in the direction that didn't feel right for me, didn't feel true for me.
Yeah.
So even, at 18, 19, I was very much getting into conspiracy theories. I loved reading that stuff. And then I started to discover, Louise Hay and a lot of the Hay House authors.
Yes.
And I found The Secret, that was even before it had even come out and was, available to the masses. My hands got on a copy of that DVD and I was, blown away. And then my work just got deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper over the years. So, I had my first life coach at 23 years old. I did Landmark Forum when I was in my early 20s. And then it just started, growing from there. And in the last, 6-7 years, I've done such deep work on myself in various modalities to discover who I am and to also be of greater assistance to my clients and to the world around me, because I believe you have to become the change you want to see in the world.
Of course, absolutely. So I know you said you took a year off and then you went back to school to study a bunch of new things. And so did you know after you took a year off I want to do mindfulness teaching? Like, most people may not even have ever heard of what that is. So did you study something formal, or was it, I know it's health and wellness area. And then as you were studying, you kind of were able to sort of pinpoint and tailor into what actually is your unique contribution and your unique voice. Or did you know all along, I'm getting this so I can have some certification and ultimately do what I know I want to do?
Right. No, it was a very interesting year off. I will tell you that. I left the entertainment industry cold turkey and went on a year of discovering who I was. I put that in quotes. I was an airline attendant for a few months and that didn't quite work out. And then I did a lot of temp work. I worked in offices and then I ended up getting this terrible customer service job for 6 months. And it was in that time frame, though, I was in so much anxiety. I had so much stress because I was not happy.
Yeah.
I was not ultimately doing what I, loved or even thought I could love or grow to love, if even. And I discovered yoga and meditation in that year, which started to really amplify my connection to myself and to spirit. And I really started to develop a keen interest and love for yoga and mind-body connection and mind-body-soul connection, and meditation changed my life. And after I quit the customer service job, I was literally left with this spaciousness within my mind and my body that I didn't have anything planned for the first time in how many years.
Yeah, especially if you've been in the industry of being on stage since you were 14.
Yeah. There was a lot of doing going on, and I hadn't really surrendered and let go and sat back and allowed life to sort of give me the next steps or show me the next steps. And then literally it just came to me. I need to go back to school. And I was kind of against the idea because I didn't think that I needed to go back, but I found the perfect program at Centennial. And that was a very, very interesting experience for me that year, going back and doing my post-grad, because the people that I met in that program, particularly the director of my program, ended up becoming my life coach for several years and was a big door opener for me, with other spiritual teachers, including Collective Evolution. Met a lot of friends and spiritual community. But when I went into the program, I knew that I was going to open another business. I look at it this way. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 14 years old. Working 9 to 5 has never really jived for me. It's never felt like a fit. And I opened my business while I was in my post-grad. So I started to create a lot of opportunities for myself. I created even my internship for that particular program and just went from there. And then I got my yoga certification when I came out of school and just developed my business over the years from that place.
Amazing. And you are yoga certified, but you're not a yoga instructor. You're actually a mindfulness teacher. I would love for you to tell me and the listeners, what exactly does that mean? And what exactly is it that you do? Because it's not a very common term or title that I've ever heard.
No. There are various schools of thought around mindfulness, but how I have created it and made it my own was I was teaching yoga for 5.5 years. I loved it, and I stopped actually in the fall because I wanted to focus on the rest of my business and write my first book and give my writing more of a chance to grow. Mindfulness for me is really the incorporation of mind, body, soul connection. It's knowing who you are from the inside out. Yes, I do teach meditation. I've developed workshops for years teaching mindful living and mindfulness. But for me, it's really about knowing who you are, becoming present to the being that you are, and becoming aligned to who you are in the moment. Because that's where you can access yourself most fully and most powerfully and authentically. When we're projecting into the past or we're looking into the future and we're living our life based on, future outcomes or possibilities, we're not present, and your power is found in the present moment. So I teach clients and groups how to become more aligned and impeccably aligned with who they are right here, right now in this moment, to live from that place versus living simply from the mind, which is always living in the future or reminiscing about the past. So to me, my mindfulness teaching is maybe slightly different from other schools or teachers out there, but it relatively is all the same in the sense of becoming present.
Yeah.
Learning to become present and the tools and solutions that can help you to become more at peace with the moment.
Yeah. So I love everything you just said, and it makes perfect sense. And what does that actually look like? And I know, as a coach myself, it can vary from individual to individual and to the group. But is there a way that you can illustrate or highlight how that actually relays out into reality with clients or workshops, so people get a sense of what that actually would be like as an experience? Right.
Well, right now, for the last, my goodness, 5.5, 6 years, it's really been a lot of one-to-one work. I love doing my one-to-one work. There's something about developing that intimate, close connection with a client. But I love working with groups too. I love to speak. This is why I'm here today, because, it's the opportunity for me to affect more than one individual at a time.
Yes.
So my one-to-one work, basically, they're more intensive programs, so they'll be 3, 6, or 12 months long. There'll be sessions every 2 weeks at 90 minutes in length with support in between. So there will be homework, inspired check-ins if a client needs to reach out because they're going through something or there's an emergency of some sort. So the one-to-one work is fairly intensive and requires, commitment, dedication, patience to the process of really getting to know themselves quite deeply. The group work that I do, I'm developing online programs right now as we speak, But my workshops and more of the group focus in the past has been around, teaching meditation, which that's actually being developed into an online program.
Oh, wow.
Intuition workshops, self-love workshops. And I've developed some other yoga workshops and retreats as well in the past. But teaching groups is basically starting from, I would say, a little bit more of a general level, because you don't know who's in your audience.
Of course, yeah.
And then building upon that. So that's what I'm doing. And then my book is hopefully going to be something that will affect more people, and my articles online, which I love to write. I love writing.
Lovely. So just to kind of go back to your one-on-one clients in your workshops, in how you do this work, is it a lot? And I know you're starting online programs, and you're starting you're in the process of your book right now. Is it a lot of face-to-face? Like, are these clients that you work with over the phone? Are they in your office in a studio? Is it a lot of conversation? Do you actually lead them through experiences? Are they having to do specific things with their body or in their life? Or is it all inner work where it's conversations and unpacking things that are on a more emotional or deeper psychological level?
You just answered all of the above. It's a bit of everything.
Okay,
it is
amazing.
a bit of everything. So there's definitely conversation, of course. They're going to be going through various visualization techniques. I will take them through guided meditations. I also specialize in deprogramming and reprogramming the subconscious mind. So we're getting right into the limiting beliefs,
The root system of
the
everything.
roots. I mean,
Yeah.
that stuff that just keeps us stuck. That's the good stuff. I like getting to the deep
Totally.
stuff. And then we have fun while we're in the sessions too. It really depends, of course, on the client.
Of course.
But
yes.
my sessions were in person. I did have offices in the past, but I love to travel. Like, I have my life too, and
Yes.
my dreams and my goals. And, my dream was to really be mobile and to create some more flexibility and time in my schedule. And, working in an office 5 days a week, and I was teaching at the time and having, 4 clients, sometimes even 5 a day, and working 5-6 days a week. I was becoming, very much too dedicated
Yes.
to my service and not enough to honoring myself. You need to have a work-life balance. So
course.
I started to put my sessions online on Skype, Google Hangouts, and over the phone. And that started in July of last year, so July 2014. So I
Lovely.
can now help people from around the world.
No matter where you are or where they are.
Exactly. And I love that they can be at home, comfortable, in their pajamas if they want,
Yes.
and feel that they have the ability to open up in a very, very safe space. Not that the office wasn't, but it's different when
Of
you're
course.
at home, right?
Absolutely.
In the privacy of your own space.
Absolutely. And you mentioned you're in the process of creating online programs right now,
Yes.
and you are also in the process of creating a book. Mm-hmm. Are you allowed to share or divulge any information about this new birthing?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my first online program, meditation has changed my life. And meditation's really hot. It's a very, very popular trend right
Yes.
now, which is a great trend
Yes.
to have, go viral. So I'm going to, create this workshop that has done really well over the years for the masses, and I'm going to do that online. So that's something that I'm currently working on, and the possibility of doing a group coaching program as well in the
Very
spring. But the book, it's really exciting. So I originally had another book that I was working with, and then I just felt very intuitively guided to do something totally different. And in the fall, I was actually, I'll share this quick story. I was speaking with a client who was interested in dating. She was ready. And, she asked me a question like, what do I do? And all of a sudden, I literally, just pen to paper, started to write down all of the chapters of my book. And, we went through several, obviously I helped her. I wasn't just thinking about my book in that moment. But, I started to just get this inspiration of all these beautiful chapters, to a book around dating, but how to stay connected to yourself while you date. This is an area I've been skilled at. I've had my years of dating. And I feel like with all of my training and my knowledge, my personal experiences, I think it's going to be a great book to share to help people who are single and looking for a conscious, heart-based relationship and how to stay connected to themselves in the process, because it's very easy to lose who you are when you're out there in the dating world.
Yeah. Wow, that sounds great. And it's such a great niche market to bring support and transformation and spirituality to.
Yes.
Like a level of consciousness to dating.
Absolutely.
Especially when you're battling things like Tinder and stuff like that.
Yes.
It's like the polar opposite of that.
Oh, absolutely. But, the book will be written in such a way that it'll be accessible for people who are not, maybe quote unquote spiritual or into all this, consciousness work or mindfulness work. It'll just be a really great guide, I think, for people to stay connected to themselves and not get lost in the Tinder apps and, online dating. And because I've been there, I've tried that stuff out, and my goodness, like you can go in really clear, and then have those experiences and walk out very confused. Like, what's going on? What's happening?
Yes. Amazing. And so when can we expect to see this book being born?
I love that you're holding me accountable right now. I got to get this book out now, don't I?
Just so we have an idea of when to look out for it.
Ideally, I really would love to have the book maybe complete by this year, possibly published. I'm very much somebody who likes to flow.
Yes.
So I, as much as I want to say, it's going to be December 31st, 2015, I totally surrender to the flow of life, and it's going to come out in the perfect time and order of things. And I'm going to make sure that I stay on top of it, writing each chapter, and I've already started it. So it's just now a matter of continuing to build that momentum.
Beautiful.
So hopefully the end of this year, maybe early next year.
But it will blossom in its own time when the time is right and the soil is fertile.
Yes. Thank you, Sasha.
You're welcome. I would love to know, so you're a mindfulness teacher, and there's a lot of people out there that are, being a coach, being a life coach. I use that quotations because when people aren't used to having coaches, everyone's just a life coach. And as a coach myself, I sometimes cringe at that title.
You and me both.
Because there's a lot of work being done to target specific areas of life and specific situations that people are dealing with. What do you find as a mindfulness teacher, as a coach, as a entrepreneur, is the most challenging part for you in your career?
I would say over the years, it's really been having people understand the importance of this work. I look at it this way. I think that a lot of people think that there needs to be something wrong with them, or their life needs to be falling apart, or they're going through a really challenging or difficult time to get the benefits from this kind of work.
Yeah.
And it's not true. It's furthest from the truth. Yeah, it helps when you're going through those difficult times, or you're going through big transitions in life. But it can help everyone. There's so many benefits to this work. I mean, we never stop learning about ourselves. And that's really what this process is about. It's about learning about who you are, your habits, your patterns, how your mind works, how the body works, how the body's responding to your thoughts and your emotions. It's, understanding how your spirit, your soul works, which is something that nobody likes to talk about in the world because it's very, esoteric and metaphysical
or woo-woo for some people.
Yeah, absolutely. And my approach has always been very, very much about grounded spirituality, a grounded work in this. It's about knowing who you are, accessing all parts of your being, and having the tools and the strategies to help you move through life, feeling connected to yourself, knowing who you are. And, I feel that there's a big difference between a comfortable life and a fulfilled life. And this work really takes you from that one level to the next. And it just keeps expanding and expanding. And the cool thing is that when you do go through difficult and challenging times, because this work does not, erase that. It's not like you're never going to have a bad day or, a challenging relationship.
Of course, yes.
It's going to help you to react and respond differently. It's going to help you to look at things from a much more evolved and higher way of perceiving and handling it. It transcends what, you might be currently looking or viewing your life at, or these situations and difficulties at,
Yeah.
So it's a holistic approach to knowing who you are and moving through life from that place.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And I, totally echo and resonate with what you said, that a lot of people feel like doing this kind of work or getting someone to, I'm going to use the word coach, them, is coming from a place that they're broken or they need to be fixed, and that there's something wrong. Where really it's I actually look at it like how you'd use a coach in sports. You could be great at basketball, and having someone see your life from a different perspective allows you to ace that 3-point shot, or find out what's wrong to tuck in your elbow to get that amazing layup. And so I love your approach, because it's not about fixing or changing anyone. It's really just moving them from good to great.
Yeah, and that's what I say. It's like, here, you're at good.
Yes.
We're gonna go to great to excellent, excellent to awesome, awesome to phenomenal, phenomenal to woo,
extraordinary, magnificent.
It can keep going and going. There's no end to that.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want that? That's the thing. Like, who wouldn't want that?
100%. So I have 2 more really quick questions, but really quickly before we end, I'd love to hear from you in regards to your personal life, your wealth of experience, and also what you do in your career and as a business that really fulfills you. What has been a winning strategy for you in life?
That's a great, great question. For me, the winning strategy, honestly, has really been, I would say, going inward. Yeah. And what I mean by that is when I'm going through, a challenging time, or life's become chaotic, or things aren't clear, or I'm confused about something, rather than spinning my wheels and looking outside of myself for the answers, or numbing myself, or escaping, or, avoiding, going inward and dealing with it head on has been the best strategy, because that's where my truth is.
Yeah.
The truth is not found in somebody else outside of me. Yes, I've had my coaches that have helped, but it's been going inward. Meditating has been a saving grace for me for years.
Vanessa, how can people get information about you, get in touch with you, find out more about what you're doing, your books, your online programs, working with you?
Cool. Yes, you guys can visit my website, vanessapetronelli.com. That's VANESSAPETRONELLI.com. And you can find me on social media. I'm very active on social media. Love staying connected with, followers and friends on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And all of those can be found on my website. And you can also sign up for my